What's going on, everybody? What is going on? It is Wednesday, March 20th, 2024, and we are back here on the Torian Rain Reloaded channel for another midday stream. If you haven't done so already, make sure to go and hit that like button, hit that share button. If you're subscribed to the channel, if you're newly subscribed to the channel, welcome. Shout out to everybody on Patreon, everybody who is a member of the channel, everybody in Discord, Twitter, Instagram, all of that good stuff. Shout out to everybody that sends me stories every single day. I greatly appreciate it. So as you can see by the title, we are doing Illegal Migrant Madness Part 3. Now, forgive me with the thumbnail. I forgot to put madness under illegal migrant, but y'all know what it is. This has pretty much been turning into a low-key, ongoing, unexpected series. Like, it wasn't something that I planned to do more than one time, but I said, instead of me just making a bunch of pre-recorded videos about it, let me just take all of it, like stories that I've been receiving, and just dump them into multiple live streams. And that's exactly what's been happening. But that just shows you how frequent now the south of the border Darien issue has become since less than a year ago, when I could probably talk about them maybe once every couple of weeks. Then it started to turn into every week. I have enough on my side that I could probably do one every day. But of course, there's other stuff I got to talk about. So I said, let me just go ahead and turn it into live streams. So before we go ahead and get started, let me acknowledge the people who are here so far in the chat. We have Jerry Bedford, Ice Spider, Wallow J, Ty C. Rowland, Hacksign KT, Sabian Draco Zero, Denise Scales, RDRD, Yoon Sellis, Prince Zakaria, Sybil, Blair in Real Life, Volvo to Love, Jay Cage, Grape Shot, T. Delgado, Don P. Ben Yehuda, Tell It Like It Is, Tawana Cook, Antoine Ball, DSB, and DeMarcus Vaughn. Shout out to everybody that is here so far, and Dapper Blue just came into the chat. Shout out to you. So I have a couple of stories that we're going to be talking about today. I initially only had like maybe 3, but since I made the thumbnail, they've done moved up to about 4 or 5. And one of them just got added in last night because of something very egregious that just happened. And that's probably going to be the last story that I talk about, since it is the most recent one. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to go ahead and share my screen, and we can go ahead and get started. So the first story that we're going to be talking about right here is coming out of Indiana. No, I believe it's in Indiana, if I'm not mistaken. Indiana or Michigan, because it doesn't specify. It just says Indiana and Michigan local news. But I'm sure hopefully we can figure out what this is. So you have this 43-year-old illegal immigrant who was charged with theft from the Four Winds Casino. Not even supposed to be here, and now they done moved up from stealing out of department stores to stealing out of casinos. A 43-year-old man from Mexico has been charged with theft from the Four Winds Casino in Hartford. The casino received a call in July of last year, with the caller falsely claiming that he was the tribal chairperson and needed funds to make an urgent payment. While on the phone, the cell phone assigned to the cage at the casino started getting texts from a person claiming to be the Hartford Casino cage director, who was out of town at the time. Now, just imagine that. If the person wasn't out of town, this person probably would have gotten away with it. The text told the employee that he needed her help to make an urgent payment within the next 20 minutes and said to follow the instructions of the caller. So basically, it was a scheme that they pretty much had going on. My red flags would have went up immediately just hearing that. But anyway, the U.S. Attorney's Office at a casino employee gathered $700,000 in cash and took the cash from the casino to a gas station in Gary. So this is Indiana. With the help of the Pokagon Tribal Police and the FBI, and after a month-long investigation, authorities identified Jesus Gayton Garcia as one of the casino employees met at the gas station and gave the money to. Authorities say Garcia has no legal authorization to be in the United States. So what do y'all think about that? They had a whole scheme going on, and they stole or was trying to get $700,000. It said they gathered it. I'm not sure if he actually got it, but they were dangerously close. Jab Bad said scam immigrants again. Grape shot, where are all the white supremacists and the goofy conservatives, black crickets, conservative black crickets as usual? Of course they are. 69 Candle says just in time. Shalom. Welcome. Yes, we are on the first story. This is just the first story, y'all. And I'm telling you, I always like to do the stories in order from very low to very high as far as the extremity of the story. So, yep, this person or persons was trying to scam $700,000 out of this casino and almost got away with it. But I think people put on their thinking caps and realized something just seems kind of off with this and said, wait a minute, something doesn't seem right here. So I'm glad that they ended up catching them. But as far as what's going to happen to them, your guess is as good as mine, because we all know if they're in a sanctuary city, they ain't going to hold them very long. So let's move on now to the next story. And this one is coming out of the state that I live in, where you have, let me pause this video right quick. Maryland thieves connected to a theft ring from South America are in the U.S. illegally, according to ICE. 5 Chilean, now that's the first time I've heard them talk about anyone from Chile, accused of burglarizing a Baltimore County, Maryland resident last month and being linked to crimes in other states, were all in the country illegally, according to the U.S. Immigration and Customs Enforcement, also known as ICE. On February 3rd, 2024, the Baltimore County Police Department arrested 20-year-old Gabriel Ponce, 21-year-old Thomas Araya, 22-year-old Jorge Vergara, 23-year-old Luis Valenzuela, and 27-year-old Gabriel Gonzalez, and charged them with first-degree attempted burglary and various other burglary-related crimes. Officers were called to the 2300 block of Tufton Springs Lane at about 6:45 p.m. that day for a burglary in progress and quickly located the suspects fleeing from the scene in a vehicle before stopping them and taking them into custody. A follow-up investigation discovered the 5 suspects were possibly connected to 4 other burglaries in the county, as well as crimes in North Carolina, Alabama, and Oklahoma. They were also allegedly part of a theft ring out of South America. What did I tell you? 9 times out of 10, whatever kind of criminality they were committing in their homeland, they were doing here. Now, look at what it says right here. They were a part of a theft ring allegedly back in South America where they're from. So they basically, what they're doing, they did over there, they brought it over here, and we're trying to expand. ICE told Fox News Digital that enforcement and removal operations in Baltimore had lodged immigration detainers against all 5 individuals. ERO Baltimore is closely tracking the 5 individuals that Baltimore County Police arrested February 3rd for burglary charges. ICE said Crisosto Araya, Gatica Vergara, Miranda Gonzalez, and Valenzuela all entered the country lawfully as non-immigrants, but did not depart according to the terms of their admittance. The 5th individual, Matamala Ponce, entered the U.S. illegally without admission by a U.S. immigration official. All 5 are also connected to crimes in other states. The Orange County, North Carolina Sheriff's Office issued arrest warrants for 3 of them on February 28th, 2024 for burglary forced entry of a residence. Miranda Gonzalez was arrested by the Orange County, Florida Sheriff's Office on February 22nd, 2022, and charged with petty retail theft and paid a fine for the crime on April 22nd, 2022. All 5 are being held in Baltimore County on an immigration detainer. The detainers are lodged against non-citizens who have been arrested for criminal activity. Under the detainer, ICE asks local and state law enforcement agencies to notify them as early as possible before releasing a non-citizen from custody. The detainers placed a hold on the release of the non-citizens for no more than 48 hours beyond the time they would otherwise be released, which allows ERO to assume custody for removal purposes. And shout out to Gemini 605 for the $5 super chat. I appreciate it. So these, and by the way, this is the picture of all 5 of them right here. '69 says the illegals are arrogant, just doing whatever they please. Pretty much. And they know it. They know they're doing it because they know they can get away with it. If they knew they couldn't get away with it, they would, one, not for starters, not be here, because apparently they are escaping persecution over in their own homeland. So they're coming over here to do what they were doing over there, but they know they are protected over here. So that's pretty much the main reason. And shout out to Professor Black Truth on the Moment of Truth that he did this morning, because he said something very interesting. He says that one of the biggest causes of why, they are doing what they're doing is because these politicians and these lawmakers give them the financial incentive to do so. So as long as there is a incentive, they're always going to do stuff and get away with it, or try to get away with it. In most cases, they've been getting away with it, though. As long as there's a money sign or something dangling in front of, like, that has money or currency behind it, they are all going to do and act in that vein. So now that I've gotten that out of that one out, those are the 2 lightest stories. Now the next 2 ones are pretty intense. The next 2 stories that I'm gonna tell you all about are pretty intense. So let's start with this one, where you have this illegal here from Venezuela. Venezuela gonna pop up a lot. Who was charged in a wrong way crash that killed a Missouri boy. And I think this one was a woman. It says an illegal immigrant from Venezuela has been charged with manslaughter for a wrong way accident in Missouri that killed a 12-year-old boy. Adina Bracho, age 33, was allegedly speeding the wrong way in Hazelwood in December, doing 75 miles an hour in a 40-mile-an-hour zone. So this woman was going 35 miles higher than the speed limit when her minivan collided with a Jeep carrying Travis Wolf and his parents, Timothy and Stephanie, the St. Louis Post-Dispatch reported. And this is a picture of the boy right here in the hospital before he unfortunately passed away. The 12-year-old was rushed to St. Louis Children's Hospital, where he was placed on life support for 3 months before succumbing to his injuries last Wednesday. And this is a picture of the culprit. This is her. This is the one that did it. Bracho's 2 children were taken to the same hospital with serious injuries, while Travis's parents were treated at Mercy Hospital for multiple broken bones. The Venezuelan national was charged with first-degree involuntary manslaughter, 2 counts of second-degree assault, 2 counts of first-degree endangering a child, and 1 count of operating a motor vehicle without a valid license. So this woman was basically over here just reckless, living lawless, like most of them are, pretty much all of them at this point. She is being held on a $500,000 cash-only bond with a hearing set for April 8th. The defendant is here illegally from Venezuela. Hazelwood Police Sergeant Scott Schernenbusch told Fox 2 that the driver's status did not play a part in our investigation, but it was just difficult identifying all parties involved because we didn't have documentation or identifications in the vehicle to try to figure out who the two juveniles and the suspect were. 1,700 feet is quite a big distance to travel at over 70 miles an hour on a 40-mile posted road. That's a long way to travel in the wrong direction and not realize it. The case gained the attention of U.S. Senator Josh Hawley, who blamed Travis's death on U.S. immigration policies. Travis Wolf, a 12-year-old Missouri boy killed by an illegal migrant. This is what an open border does. Say his name, he wrote on X. And this is right here. This is a picture of, well, let me see if I can open it up in another tab without having to open up. So this is what the car looked like when she crashed. They said this woman was driving, keep that in mind, this woman was driving at 75 miles an hour on a 40-mile-an-hour road going in the opposite direction with her kids in the back seat and crashed into this family, injuring his parents and killing him. Of course, well, he didn't die instantly, but they said he was in a coma for 3 months, and then he just died last week. Now, keep in mind, when I did my last illegal migrant madness, was it last week? When I was talking about the one that was deported 5 times down there in Texas that ran over that little black boy, hit and run, hit him and kept on moving. So now you have this one, what, a week later? Well, it happened last week, but the boy died last week. I mean, last December, and the boy passed last week. The principal here, Vanilla, said, jail her and deport the kids back to where they walk from. We know they're not going to do that. We know they're not going to do that. I'm surprised they even charged her with manslaughter and charged her with all of the charges that they gave her. The question is, which ones are going to stick? But it's getting crazier and crazier and crazier. But if y'all thought that was something, and it is something, what if I told you that there is now a certain, I guess you can say, there's still legal, that is wanting to come over here with the intent of committing a terroristic act. So you have this person right here from Lebanon, and it said he admitted that he is a Hezbollah. I don't know what that is, but I'm sure the article is going to tell us. A Hezbollah terrorist hoping to make a bomb and was headed to New York. So now it's gotten so dangerous right now that people who are admitted terrorists are getting in here with the intent of wanting to cause mass harm. A Lebanese migrant who was caught sneaking over the border admitted he's a member of Hezbollah. He hoped to make a bomb, and his destination was New York. Basil Abadi, age 22, was caught by the U.S. Border Patrol on March 9th near El Paso, Texas. While in custody, he was asked what he was doing in the U.S., to which he replied, "I'm going to try to make a bomb," according to a Border Patrol document exclusively obtained by the Post. But Abadi later claimed in an interview that he had been trying to flee Lebanon and Hezbollah because he, quote unquote, didn't want to kill people, and said, "Once you're in, you can never get out," according to eternal U.S. Immigration and Customs Enforcement documents. Abadi said in a sworn interview after his arrest that he had trained with Hezbollah for 7 years and served as an active member guarding weapons locations for another 4 years. Abadi's training focused on jihad and killing people that was not Muslim. Border agents continue to see a surge in migrants whose name appear on the terror watch list entering the U.S. illegally as crossing continue at record levels. Hezbollah, an Iran-backed terror group, has launched missiles into northern Israel following Hamas attack on October 7th that have killed about a dozen Israeli soldiers and 7 civilians. Abadi didn't have documents when he entered the U.S., claiming he was robbed with a knife in Costa Rica. He also admitted to using a fake birthday and name in Sweden, Ecuador, where he claimed his father resides in Panama this year. He said he had originally hoped to go to New York and then move around the country. Abadi was immediately placed into isolation and was referred for an interview with the Tactical Terrorism Response Team for making terroristic threats to personnel. Internal documents show he was marked for deportation from the U.S., although it was not clear to which country he would be returned. Border agents recorded 98 encounters with terror watch listed individuals at both the northern and southern borders in fiscal year 2022, and almost as twice as many, 172, in fiscal year 2023, which ends on September 30th. So far, in the first 4 months of 2024, 59 people have been apprehended according to federal data. The total number of terror watch list encounters between fiscal years 2017 and 2021 amounted to just 30 people. But after that time, the criteria for being on the list, which have never been disclosed, were expanded. Just days before the former President Donald Trump's recent visit to Eagle Pass, Texas, a terror watch listed migrant crossed into the area illegally, according to an internal agency memo the Post obtained. Colombian national Carlos Bedoya, age 40, was first apprehended by the Texas Department of Public Safety, which handed him into the custody of the Border Patrol. Border agents made the determination about his alleged terror ties. This underscores the need for border security measures, as potential threats to both public safety and national security are evident and exploit security vulnerabilities. The federal government has failed to enact border security measures, and the state of Texas, though Governor Greg Abbott's Operation Lone Star, will continue to take unprecedented action to help secure the border. So there you have it. And tell it like it is. You are absolutely right. They have literally opened up the floodgates to let people like this in. We better be on guard like nobody's business. And the next 2 things I'm going to show y'all is going to prove just that. So this next story that I'm bringing to y'all was from yesterday. It just came out yesterday, where you have, and shout out to TD Media Group, even though I kind of actually found out about it before TD had talked about it. You have this judge named Sharon Johnson. I believe she was under the Obama administration, Black woman, where she just did the unthinkable but not so surprising. So if look at this headline right here. Illegal immigrants can possess guns under the Second Amendment. Do y'all see that? Let me read that again. Illegal immigrants can possess guns under the Second Amendment. Why am I not surprised? I mean, they've already allowed them to do so much else. I mean, let's just give them a firearm. A U.S. district judge ruled earlier this month that completely prohibiting illegal immigrants from possessing firearms is a violation of the Second Amendment. The ruling, issued on March 8th by Obama-appointed District Judge Sharon Johnson Coleman, pertains to the case of illegal migrant Heriberto Flores. He was charged under Title 18 of the U.S. Criminal Code, a measure preventing illegal migrants from possessing firearms. He had no criminal history of improper use of a gun and therefore, according to the court, did not present a public danger when exercising his Second Amendment right in Chicago in 2020. It says that he contends that he received and used the handgun solely for self-protection and protection of property during a time of undocumented civil unrest in the spring of 2020. Now, we all know what was going on during that time. Thus, the court finds that as applied to him is unconstitutional. In her decision, Coleman cited the Supreme Court's ruling in New York State Rifle and Pistol Association versus Bruin, which found New York State could not constitutionally prevent anyone from carrying a pistol in public. The case, she said, established a framework for analyzing whether a challenged firearm regulation violates the Second Amendment. Courts continue to evaluate the right to bear arms and who is responsible for illegal acts committed with guns. In Washington earlier this month, a federal judge rejected a challenge to a law allowing lawsuits against gun makers if their weapons are used improperly. A suspect in a Maryland shooting that killed a 2-year-old last month, which I talked about 2 weeks ago, was in the country illegally and had prior detainments, according to U.S. Immigration Customs Enforcement. It's gotten to that point, y'all. It's gotten to that point where now they are allowing them to get a gun under the Second Amendment, and I bet you they probably don't even have to go through the proper protocol in order to obtain it. Now, I was going to save this story for the one I just went over now for last, but I'm glad I reversed it because I'm going to show y'all this video of what happened with this woman in New York and her involvement with one of these South of the Borderians that tried to steal her purse. Before I do that, shout out to JK for the $5 super chat. He says they're majority in our neighborhoods, taking over our kids' rec centers and getting hella benefits over us. And that's all by design. That's all by design. But I want to show y'all this video right here that was posted on 2 days ago, as a matter of fact, where you have this woman in New York. It says women in New York City now have to protect themselves from illegal immigrants who try to snatch their purses. Now, I think that the woman that person who's trying to snatch her purse is a black woman. But I'm going to be honest with you. This woman was handling her business against this person who was trying to take her bag. But I'm going to play the video. It's 2.5 minutes long.
Esta mujer fuerte. Tú vas a matar a ladrón, mamacuevo, pollo. Tú no ves la mujer lo pegó. Esta mujer fuerte. Yo la policía.
You got the wrong thing.
Lo quiebra mismo.
Wrong female. Let's go.
Notice he's trying to cop a plea now. Now, if you notice, someone dragged like a motor scooter over. I think he was trying to get away on the motor scooter, but didn't get very far, as you can see, because she got him before he could really drive off. Now he's trying to cop a plea because she apprehended the person that tried to take her bag. But look at what's going on. And this is who they want to put a firearm in the hands of. Now imagine if he did have a tool on him. He could have easily popped her right there, and they probably would have been on his side.
Now let's go. Let's go. Ya te la pierdan, pues. Por favor, me va a matar. No, está bien. Va a matar. Ahora habla español, mamacuevo.
I like that. Sorry. Yeah.
They gonna step up on.
Yeah.
Members to the side. From war.
Nigga, from war. From here, nigga.
They don't know how sorry. Why sorry? Segura. Please.
My phone good?
Please.
The police is coming.
Please.
The police is coming.
Yo,
Police is coming. You can't do that, man.
Please.
No, man. Just hold him. Don't hold him
please.
too tight because you might get that.
Please. Yo, please. Please, suéltame. Suéltame, please.
We did, yeah.
Suéltame,
We
please.
did.
We did you hit her. Man.
We did you hit her. We gonna all jump on you. We did you.
Yeah.
Fucking him up.
Dick? What the fuck you talking about?
Pero es la moto.
Yeah, keep
Pero es la moto.
the motorcycle.
Can't say you got jumped. You know
What
that
you
nigga.
talking about? Wrong, bitch. Get the fuck off the wall.
Get the moto.
I pieced them already.
Man,
I already pieced them.
And that's it. And that's the whole video right there. And I contemplated showing that video, but I said I had to show it. I had to show it. So y'all just got a real life glimpse of what people around the establishment are probably dealing with that you never saw before. Because all the time they always show this imagery of them being in these shelters, look like they're helpless, or you might see images them or videos of them going and stealing stuff, but you never see an interaction where a person actually gets one of them and handles them the way that she did. Like she held on to this person as long as she could, give him a couple of hits, held him some more, put him in a headlock, held him some more, gave him a few more taps, and then he ran off. It's funny, he wasn't yelling, please let me go, and all of this when he was trying to steal her bag. Exactly. He left he wasn't about to go back over there. He ran the other way. Let that be a warning to him if he ever tries to steal from somebody else, especially if it's a black woman, because he probably saw his whole life flash before his eyes. For all we know, this could have been one of his first interactions ever with a black woman. And he found out that day, like someone said in the chat, FAFO. Y'all know what it means. And I saw someone else say in the chat, that was just one person. Imagine if it was many more. And I don't know if y'all peeped it right there in the video when someone said towards like 10 seconds left, they said, and I want y'all to know, nobody jumped him. And I know why he said that. Because if other people would have got involved, that's exactly the narrative they would have went with and said that people was jumping this dude. The reason why they didn't jump in and help her, quote unquote, is because she was actually holding her own. Now, if he was one of them, and now if the roles were reversed and he was putting her like in a headlock and stuff like that, then other people would have jumped in. So kudos to this sister for handling her business. She did what she had to do, and she got her bag back. But I know y'all have some words for what, whether it's the video y'all just saw or the other stories. So I'm going to go ahead and put the link right here in the chat. And y'all can come on up. I'll leave it open for maybe about until about maybe around 1:10. So if anybody would like to come on up and talk about, I realized that my numbers jumped when that video popped up. I'm not surprised by that either. I know what y'all be wanting to see. And to all the people out there that have never been to New York before, that's how a lot of black people in New York are. Just giving you a heads up. Take it from somebody who has family from New York on both sides of my family. But first person I'm bringing up is Wallow J, of course.
It ain't nobody else but me. Ain't this nobody in fit. How you doing, Torian?
What's going on?
Not much, man. FA, fuck around and find out exactly what happened, man. Proud of that sister for handling her own. Cause everybody know New York energy is just straight up different from anybody in the country. But yeah, man, it's getting wild out here. Now I didn't hear about that. The firearm stuff. I know DSB said something about it in the chat, but
yeah, that just happened.
man,
I understand because it just happened yesterday. Like they just made it a thing yesterday.
boy, it's about to get hot out here,
Mm-hmm.
especially in New York. Oh, that's the worst place to have a gun. All the crazy stuff meant to go out there,
Yeah.
man. It's gonna be some shit going on, but it's gonna affect them folks just as much as it's gonna affect us. It might affect them more than us, to be honest with you, because they think, oh, this is gonna be good. They're gonna attack the black people. They know not. They better not come fuck with us, cause they might come fuck with y'all. Y'all better have y'all guns ready, cause y'all supposed to have all the ARs and bombs and all the other stuff in your house. So you better get ready. It ain't coming just to us, but you fuck around and you find out.
Like I said that, like I said that FBA energy is.
Yeah, cause they can do whatever they want to see to the people on Afro Latinos back home, but we different up here. We don't play that mess, and they better get ready for it. But I appreciate you, Torn. B1.
B1. Exactly. Tawana said you never been in New York. Well, when you go one day, you'll see it. You'll see it. But again, if anybody else would like to come up, the link is right there in the chat. And for many of y'all, that was probably y'all first time seeing that video. When I saw that, I said, oh, when I do my next Illegal Migrant Madness live stream, I'm definitely sharing that video with the family. Because I know a lot of y'all aren't on X. So some of those stuff y'all don't see like that. But that's exactly where it was at. And I said, y'all got to see this. Y'all got to see this. Because mainstream media is not going to show that. They would never show that. Jason Bradley says it's funny that this black judge can find loopholes in the Constitution but can't find anything for reparations. Exactly. Good point. Again, they literally rolled out the red carpet, put up the stanchions and everything, and turned it into a big 5-star event for them. And then just expect us to deal with it. Oh no. Tell it like it is. What's going on?
Hey, what's going on, brother? How you doing?
I'm doing good.
Good. No, I just had to chime in, man. This is like, this is crazy what's going on right here, right now. You know,
but hold on. Wait, are you out? It sounds like you outside. There's a lot of wind in the background. Try to get to a place where there's like not a lot of background noise because I can barely hear you, and I have these headphones on, and it's hitting my ears, and it's like it kind of hurts a little bit. So come back up like when you get into a space where it's like you're indoors or not outside. To the people that's like, I'm gonna just like lay this ground rule down right now before bringing people up. If you want to come up and speak, please be in an area where there's not a lot of noise. I mean, if you got a radio on, please turn the radio down. If you are outside, please get to a place where there's inside, or please just not be around where there's a lot of conversations because I cannot hear you. That was very, very loud. So just a word to the wise. If y'all want to come up, please be in a location where there's not a lot of background noise. Appreciate it. But if anybody else would like to come up, please you can hit the link I posted again. RD said, you're right, Torian. Since I'm not on social media platforms, I only see these things on your YouTube channel. Thanks for sharing. I'm glad that I can be a vessel for you to be able to catch this type of stuff. Zava said, watch PC YouTubers like the quartering and others. They probably don't even know this video exists. And even if they did and they tried to attack her, they will have more than exposed themselves. That means that they're all for what the South of the Borderian is doing, as long as it attacks a certain group. Now, keep in mind, Their goal initially, when all of this happened, was to just drop them and dump them into predominantly black neighborhoods. But the minute it started to expand outside of that and start to hit them, now they want to feel some type of way. Oh no, now you got to deal with it just like the rest of us. Mr. J said, did you hear about the measles outbreak in Chicago? Yes. As a matter of fact, shout out to Afro Elite. He actually did a live stream and he talked about it. And I said, you got to think about that. Measles. Think about this. When's the last time we heard of a measles outbreak before now? Measles practically predates me. See, I was brought up in the era of chickenpox. And chickenpox pretty much fizzled out as far as being a big thing, a big topic of discussion around maybe the early mid 2000s, somewhere around that range. You really didn't hear about it that much. But for the reason that measles is popping back up, we know where it's coming from. They know where it's coming from too. Think about it. If measles outbreak starts to pop back up in the last year, and you think about who's been coming over in the last year, and it wasn't there like 5 years ago, and even predating the pandemic, then where is it coming from? Exactly. All right, let me bring up Prince of Paraphernalia. What's going on?
Hey, Brother Torian, how you doing?
I'm doing good.
Brother, your first story, the Chileans have been hitting the small hats McMansions here in Michigan since last summer. And it's not even hot yet, and they still at it. And now that thing that you just said, that illegals are okay, they're allowed to have guns now. Hey, It looks like civil war is imminent. It really does. It really does. And how did that young lady get a car to kill that boy?
Exactly.
That's what I want to know.
And exactly, without a valid license, right. How did she get that car? That's a good question.
On top of which, I thought they weren't supposed to let cockeyed people drive cars, but that's neither here or there. But brother, hey, black family, stay ready. Stay ready. Now, you wanted to know what Hezbollah meant. I worked in a Chaldean party store. Now the Chaldeans, they're Christian based. They're not Muslim, and so they don't have an anti-black sentiment like the Sunnis and the Shiites do. But Hezbollah means party of God, and that comes from Iran. Iran backs Lebanon. Lebanon is an offshoot of Hezbollah. The Republican Guard of Iran is mainly all Hezbollah. You know, the people that got the bomb vests and stuff like that. And you mean they let somebody from Lebanon just waltz in here? Stay ready, black family. Something's about to pop off. With that, be one, and I'll see you later.
Be one. Appreciate you, POP, for coming up and breaking down what Hezbollah is, because I didn't know what that was going into it, but now I have a better understanding. All right, tell it like it is. We're going to try this again. Hopefully you are in a more quiet space. Good now?
Yeah, I'm good now. Can you hear me better?
Okay. Yeah, much better.
Okay, yeah, I was actually on my way to my car, so that's where I'm at right now.
Okay.
But yeah. So I just wanted to let everybody know, let the family know that y'all keep y'all head on the swivel out here, because they're letting these people in at a very alarming rate, and they're just dispersing anywhere throughout the United States. So they could be anywhere. They could be anywhere and everywhere within this country. And now, not only that, these people are allowed to do all kinds of the same things that people with constitutional, natural born taxpayers who's supposed to have the same constitutional rights, but they get their rights. They get their rights without having to have done anything for it. These people are coming over here. A lot of them are criminals. They don't care about the laws. They don't care about what's going on. They don't care about the people they hurt. They don't care about none of that stuff. And so now, you know what I'm saying, and now our kids' lives are in danger, And so now, now if you got people out here that are not even citizens, and they're able to tote weapons on them right now. But like you say, like in places like here in California where I currently live now, these are these are the states that have, and also in Chicago where I'm originally from, they have some of the strictest gun laws. You know, some of the strictest gun laws, and then and it's FBAs they get tossed in jail for being found out to have a weapon. But you gonna let somebody come over here who ain't even got rights to the soil, and they just come over here and they able to tote weapons. You know, they driving cars without licenses. You know, this is all the politicians' fault in Washington because they sign off on all of this crap. And
Oh
so now
yeah.
you got these people in here running amok, and now like I said, for real, you get in your car, you so much as stopped at a stoplight, stop sign, anything, you know what I'm saying, your life, you know what I'm saying, your life is in danger, you know, just for leaving your house now, you know, your life is even in more imminent danger. So yeah, I just want everybody to keep their heads on the swivel now, because this is about to come to a head, and I'm telling you, it's not gonna be pretty. When the bottom falls out, it ain't gonna be pretty at all.
Definitely.
So that's all I wanted to say. B1.
B1, appreciate you coming up. Shout out to Tell It Like It Is. Yeah, you definitely gotta be on your P's and Q's, especially now. And after y'all saw that video that I showed y'all at the end, they do not care. They literally have come over here willingly, voluntarily, lost, and literally have a lawless land protecting them. I keep telling y'all, and I'm gonna stand on this. I will not be surprised if they get some kind of a hate crime bill on the books. I mean, they already just said that they are protected under the Second Amendment. And we know that's something that's for people who were born here, citizens of the establishment. They are not citizens of the establishment. And they're already getting protections under the amendment, the Second Amendment. We are still in, as far as I know, in phase one. All of this is still phase one. So if all of this is phase one, imagine what phase two gonna look like. We are keeping a docket of all of this. Shout out to Blacklight Revelations for his undocumented channel where he talks about this stuff too. Because it has to be put out there. It really does. Because mainstream media is only going to talk about it from one perspective in one particular way, if they even bother really talking about it at all. But we over here are going to talk about it from this perspective. And this perspective, in my opinion, is the only one that matters. It's about, I think it's officially spring now. So the weather is breaking. I'm sure y'all have noticed that. The weather is starting to get nice. There's still some cool days in there. But what's going to happen when the weather is consistently nice? They're going to be outside for real, for real. And y'all going to have to be extra careful. Because if that video that y'all saw at the end that I showed y'all is any indication of what can happen, y'all better be on your P's and Q's. Oh, TR5 says today's the first day of spring. Well, there you go. There you go. All right. Well, it doesn't look like anybody else is coming up today, but shout out to those who did come up and lend their voice. And shout out to those who contributed to the super chat, Gemini 605 and J Cage. And also shout out to everybody who came through and just, kicked it with me for the last, hour or so, discussing this obvious problem. And of course, there will be more of these in the future as I continue to gather more and more of them, the more frequent they will become. But shout out to everybody that came through. I'm going to get ready to shut it down. This was another midday stream here on the Torian Rain Reloaded channel. If you haven't done so already, hit that like button, hit that share button. If you're new, subscribe to the channel. Shout out to everybody on Patreon, the members, Discord, Twitter, Instagram, all of that good stuff. Shout out to the replay gang. I feel like I don't acknowledge y'all enough. Shout out to those who catch the playback because they couldn't catch the live. Y'all are just as important as those who were in the live for sure. And we will be back on here tomorrow for another 11 a.m. premiere video. And man, I can't wait for y'all to see that one tomorrow. The video tomorrow is going to be a doozy. But when y'all see the title, y'all going to be locked in. Y'all going to be looking at that title and say, oh my God, I can only imagine just on the title alone what is going to be talked about because the title already pulled me in. But with that being said, y'all enjoy the rest of your day. Be safe and be one.